Well, today that we hope that you learn how to locate the Walden ASC website and its statistics and our SPSS learning resources. We hope that you are able to identify the ASC free tutoring services and how to learn how to connect with a tutor online and through email. And we also hope that you understand how to run some common data analysis tests in SPSS. So today, the presentation we won't have time for because we are on a limited time because we have a long line of conferences during the day today. We're not going to be able to go over the test assumptions for each data analysis test or the purpose behind the use of that test. And we are not going to be able to go over some individual dissertation-related data analysis questions. However, if you want to email our stat tutors at statsupport@waldenu.edu, you may do so, and you can ask those questions. So the Academic Skills Center Tutoring Services Program is a free service to all students. And through that service, you have access to our qualified statistics graduate assistants that they can do individualized tutoring sessions with you. And they also are accessible in multiple ways. We also have a YouTube channel that would be helpful for you guys to subscribe to that has wonderful resources. We have podcasts in there. We have tutorials, a lot of things that would help you through your courses. So I'm going to go over our online scheduling system and just kind of show you how to make an appointment with the tutor. So the first thing you need to do is you need to visit this URL here, which is the mywconline.com. That is our online scheduling system that we use in tutoring services. And once you are in WC Online, you're going to see this homepage, and you're going to need to register first. And you're going to register using your Walden student email and provide a password. And there's going to be a form that's going to pop up, and you just populate those areas that have the red asterisks because that is important for us. And then once you register, you can come right back in and put in your email address and the password that you just registered with. And for statistics, you want to choose that Statistics, Math, Excel, and SPSS schedule. And it's going to just put you right into the schedules here for our stats tutors. And when you take a look at the schedule, you're going to see the blue. The dark blue actually means that this is when the tutor schedules are blocked, that they are not working at that time. The light blue you're going to see means that they have appointments scheduled at that time block. And the white area is the availability, and that is where you could schedule your appointment. So you're going to want to take a look at the date and the time that you want to work with the tutor, and you're going to click on that white square for that time block. Now, please remember that all tutoring appointments are made and attended in Eastern Standard Time. Because we're a global university, we get a lot of questions in the ASC Tutoring Roll account about that. So we want to stress that so you don't mix up the times. There is a great time zone converter webpage that can help you. And another thing we want to let you know that if you are unable to make your appointment, please cancel it in order to open up space for other students. You may cancel your appointment, I believe it's within 30 minutes of the session. So I'm going to use Toby here as an example for making an appointment. So if you decide that you're going to work with Toby and you want to do it on the time and date that is specified here, this is what the appointment form is going to look like. And you're going to fill out that appointment form as indicated. And then once you save that form, you're going to see in your schedule, it's going to appear gold. And that's when your appointment is. So your block time will look gold in your view. So then what you need to do is when it's time for your appointment, you want to log back in, and I would suggest about 5 minutes prior to the session. And you're going to click on that time block of your appointment. And then once you're in the appointment form, you're going to see in red font an area that's going to say click, where you click to start or join your online consultation. And that is going to put you into a whiteboard area. And in that whiteboard, you're going to have in place to chat with your tutor, or you can use the audio-video functionality to communicate. You can also upload your document into the whiteboard to work together, or you can also upload your document in the appointment form prior to the appointment. So whatever is most convenient for you. Now, a lot of questions, what can you do with SPSS? So we have a cute little note here that chi-square T what? Yes, chi-square is a data analysis test that Toby will be going over. It's not a type of T. But anyway, what SPSS is it's a statistical software system, like a package. And it's a great place that researchers use to store their data. It's a place that you can put your data in and you can build on your data. It keeps the data safe, it's structured, and it also if you're more advanced kind of statisticians, you can go in there and you can have pre-planned data analysis techniques for your data. And so what's neat about SPSS is once you run an analysis, it remembers what you've done. So it keeps track of all your data and your analyses. It's a wonderful tool. And thankfully with SPSS, we do not need to hand calculate statistics. So that's the best part about it. And SPSS for Walden students is free. And so we also have that information on our website about how to get a hold of SPSS. So in the courses, we've seen some common types of tests that are used, and this is what we're going to go over today with Toby. He'll demonstrate for you. There's descriptive statistics, which gives you like a nice picture of your data. And that is really shown through maybe a frequency count, your measures of central tendency, your measures of dispersion. So that would be your measure of central tendency, like your mean, your median, your mode, your measures of dispersion, your variance, your standard deviation. We also see a lot of independent sample t-tests that need to be run, and that's basically comparing a means analysis between two independent groups. There is the one-way ANOVA, which is when you're looking at group differences, and ANOVAs are typically done with 3 groups. Correlations, which are when you're looking at relationships between variables. Simple linear regression, when you're looking to see how one variable influences another. And then your chi-square test that we see a lot, which is a non-parametric test. And the chi-square tests are similar to correlation. You're kind of looking at dependency, and it is used, I've seen it used a lot on categorical variables, whereas correlation is more on quantitative variables. So now I'm going to turn the presentation over to Toby, and he's going to demonstrate for you some of those simple data analysis tests that I just discussed. Toby, take it away.
Thank you, Kim.
You're welcome.
All right. As Kim mentioned earlier, I'm going to attempt and show you how to perform descriptive statistics, independent sample t-tests, one-way ANOVA, Pearson correlation, simple linear regression, and lastly, a chi-square test using SPSS. All these analyses are important, and you will encounter them if you take any statistic courses here at Walden. For those of you who have already taken some statistic courses here at Walden, this will be a refresher to you. So before I can start showing you how to perform these analyses, I'm assuming that you are somewhat familiar with SPSS and know how to open a data set in SPSS. With that being said, let's now begin with descriptive statistics. So first, I would like to point out to you that we can use the frequency command to determine quartiles, percentiles, measures of central tendency, which are mean, median, and mode, measures of dispersion, which are range, standard deviation, variance, minimum and maximum, measures of kurtosis and skewness. And we can also create histograms using SPSS. So the command is found at analyze, as shown by the arrow number 1. So you would go to analyze, descriptive statistics, and then you move over to frequencies. This is shorthand for clicking on the Analyze menu item at the top of your window, and then click on the descriptive statistic as shown here from the drop-down menu, and then frequencies from the pop-up menu. Next, the frequencies dialog box will appear here like this. And then you will select the variable or variables that you want to analyze by clicking on variable or variables in the left hand pan of the frequencies dialog box. And then you would click on the arrow button to move the variable into the variable pan. Once you're back on this screen, you need to make sure to select display frequency tables, and that is if you want a frequency distribution. In our case, we'll leave it as selected. Here we need to specify which statistics we want to perform by clicking on the statistics button. The statistic dialog box will appear like shown here. From the statistic dialog box, then you click on the desired statistics that you want to perform, and then to calculate a given, if you want to calculate a given percentile, then you would click in the box to the left of percentiles. From there, then you would type in the desired percentile and click on the add button. And then after that, when you have selected all the desired statistics, for example, you would like to add the mean, median, mode, standard deviation, variance, range, and etc. Then after that, then you click on the continue button on the bottom of the dialog box. And for example, we are not going to calculate percentiles in this example here. So we are going to leave the percentile value as it is shown here. Then here we will click on the desired shape. Usually it would be the histogram, and click on the continue button. And after that, then you click on OK in the frequencies dialog box. The SPSS output viewer will appear after that. And once that is completed, then in the SPSS output viewer, you will see the requested statistics and chart. This is what the statistics output looks like. It lists the requested measures of central tendency, measures of dispersion, measures of skewness and kurtosis, and the quartiles and percentiles for your data. And if you scroll down in your output, you will see the frequency distribution. In our case, you would see the frequency distribution tables for age group and liking rating as shown on the screen. And then the next thing you would want to do, again, you would continue to scroll down. You will see the histogram or whatever chart you requested earlier on during your analysis. In our case, we will get two histograms, one for age and the other for liking. Here I'm only showing the histogram for liking. Now that we have completed the descriptive statistic analysis, I would like to move on to show you how to do an independent sample t-test analysis. Just like we did earlier with the descriptive statistics, you're also, again, you're going to be familiar with this. You're always going to go and start with analyze. Um, so you go analyze for this analysis, and then compare means and independent sample t-tests, as shown here by the arrows. Next, you will be presented with the independent samples t-test dialog box, as shown here. Here, we will transfer the dependent variable, in our case is liking rate, and transfer that into the test variable box, and then we transfer the independent variable which is the age group into the grouping variable box as shown here by highlighting the relevant variables and pressing the button. You will end up with the following screen. You then, once you get to the screen, you need to define the group age, which is the one we have. So then you click on the button. You will be presented with the define groups dialog box as shown above. And then something you need to know, for example, if you have more than 2 age groups in your study, but only wanted to compare 2, you could type in 1 to group 1 box and 3 to group 2 box as shown here. Now let's click on then you would click on the continue button in that box, and then another thing that you need to know also is that if you need to change the confidence level limits or change how to exclude cases, you would click the button, and you will be presented with the following dialog box. We are not going to change it here, so let's just you would click continue, and we will be returned to the independent sample t-test dialog box, and then once you're returned there, then you click OK, and you get to the your results output. So here we can see that we have 2 tables, group statistics and independent samples t-test. The group statistic table provides useful descriptive statistics for the 2 groups that you compare, including the mean and standard deviation. The independent samples t-test table provides the actual results from the independent t-test. So here now we conclude I conclude with showing you how to perform the independent sample t-test. The next one is to run one-way ANOVA, and to do that, again, you would go to Analyze, Compare Means, One-way ANOVA, as shown on the top menu here, and then the next thing is you will see the following screen. And once you get to this screen, then you would transfer the dependent variable, which we used earlier, liking rate, into the dependent list box, and the independent variable age group into the factor box using the appropriate buttons. You can also drag and drop the variables into the boxes as shown in this screen here. So then on this screen, you would select the test that you want to run, but in our case, I'm just going to show you how to select we are not going to, in this case, I did not select anything. So, but in your case, if you're going to select any test, you can just by clicking on the test that you want to show later. And here we will then, if we want to do the descriptive statistic, then we'll click the option button here. Then we select the descriptive box in the statistics area as shown. So when you want to test for some of the assumptions of the one-way ANOVA, you will need to tick more of these check boxes. So next you would click continue and then OK. And then from there, then you would have your data output. And this is our output here. And this is, you would see there's the tables that we selected for the descriptive statistics and the ANOVA. And this concludes the one-way ANOVA analysis. The next one that I'm going to show you is the Pearson correlation. Let's say you want to know whether a person's age is related to how they like something in our previous examples. So here we will click Analyze, and then you move down to Correlate, and then you move to the right to Bivariate, and then the next thing that you will see is you will see the dialog box here for bivariate, and on this screen, what you would want to do is to transfer the variables age group and liking rate into the variables box by dragging or dropping, or you can also just click on the arrow to move them. Then you will end up with screens similar to the one above. You will need to make sure that the Pearson box is checked. Okay. The next thing is you click on the option button if you want to generate some descriptive statistics. You can do it here by clicking on the relevant box under the statistics area, and after that, then you can then click continue and then OK. So this one here ends how you can run the Pearson correlation. And after that, once you complete the analysis, then you will see this this screen, the your data output. It will look like this after you do your Pearson correlation analysis. So and you would only have this one table here if that's what you started with. And now that we have completed the Pearson correlation, now I'm going to show you how to do the simple linear regression. Again, with all these analyses, as I mentioned earlier, you can always start with the analyzed, and then you go to regression. And for a simple linear regression, what we're going to do is we will move to select linear on the right there, number 3. And then once once you click on linear, you will see the linear regression dialog box here. And then you transfer the independent variable, which is the age group that we have been using, and into the independent box, and the dependent variable liking that we used previously also, you can move that into the dependent box. You can do this by either, again, drag and drop the variables, or you can also use your, you can just click the arrow to move them. This is the screen that you will see, and then after that, then you click OK. And after we are done with the analysis, then we have our data output. And here you can see the tables that we are looking for. So you have the variables table there. You would have the model summary, ANOVA table, and then the correlation coefficient table. The next one, which we're going to I'm going to show you, is the chi-square test. And with chi-square test, you're also going to start with analyze, and then you move down to non-parametric tests, and then move to the right to legacy dialogues, and then the last one, you select the chi-square. So after you click, after clicking the chi-square, then you would see the chi-square test dialog box like this. And here on this screen, if we were doing this test, then we'll transfer the music variable if we're trying to look at music. So we'll try to move the music variable into the test variable list box by using the button. So you can either just click, or also you can drag it and drop it in the box. Then we need to keep the all categories, as you can see there, under the expected values. The all category box needs to be selected and then assuming that these are equal proportions for each category. Then we would click OK, and then you would generate the output here. And here, this is your chi-square test output. And you have the frequencies table that shows the music, and then the table where it says the test statistics. With that, thank you for allowing me to show you how to perform the various statistical analysis in SPSS. In this presentation, I briefly showed you how to run descriptive statistics, independent sample t-test, one-way ANOVA, Pearson correlation, simple linear regression, and lastly, chi-square test. I know that we have done a lot in a short time, but I'm hoping that this presentation has helped you understand the basics of these statistical analysis. And I hope this kind of help you relieve some of the worries you might have about SPSS or statistics. Now I will turn it over to Kim.
Thank you, Toby. Let's see, how do you, okay, I'm going to go back a little bit. How do you determine which test statistics to use? It depends really on as far as if you're looking for your dissertation, it really depends on your research question and what you're kind of looking to find out with your variables. It also, and then we have another question here about level of measurement. Toby, the level of, go ahead, can you answer that?
Yeah, I can add a little bit to the what kind of if you want to. I think the question is, how do you know which test statistic to use? So with that, you need to use. We have a decision tree on the website that helps you figure out which test to
That's
use,
right.
and I will put that link here. Let
Oh,
me
that's a
go
great
ahead.
point. Yes.
And
Thank you,
you can
Toby.
look at that and see which one you can. So there's that link. It's very helpful if you go careful about it. It's very helpful to determine which test you need to use.
Yeah, because certain variables, certain tests, you need certain tests for certain variables. So you have to kind of know, again, your level of measurement. There's a question here about what type of level of measurement for correlation. Toby, is correlation mostly quantitative? Is that correct?
Yes, it's mostly quantitative. Yep.
Because, okay, so there are continuous variables. I think that's for
Yes.
correlation. Yeah, our website, our stats website has great resources. We have a lot of tutorials that take you step by step with statistics. So please
Yeah.
visit our website.
Yeah, and that if you look on our website, you'll find a lot of helpful materials on there, and it will help you with all the questions that you have. So with the levels, there are different levels that you need to look at. So, and it also will be depending on your variable. And so you would have measurement scales, and then, for example, you have like a dichotomous measure, nominal, ordinal, and interval. And those are all different. And for example, if you're looking at a dichotomous, you're looking at gender. So maybe you want to look at a female or male, then that would be a dichotomous measure. And if you're looking at, you're trying to look at ethnicity, then that would be a nominal measure. In nominal, you can look at either non-Hispanic white or African American or Hispanic. So that's how you look at that measure. And if you're looking at ordinal measure, then the ordinal measure actually, for example, will look at education level. So that will look at whether you have people that are high school level or some college level or completed college. So that's one of the examples. And the final measure is the interval. And with interval, you look at age and maybe weight. If you're looking at, you want to compare the differences in age and weight of individuals. And each number represents, if you're selecting these numbers, they will represent actual numbers. So I don't know if that helps.
Yeah, that does help.